I'm right, in the blue. He's going for the Eric build from Sweden. Excuse me, Finland. It's Serral. Technically Sweden too. You know, that's where they are right now. That's my excuse.
Yeah. And his opponent spawning up at the top left for Team Liquid. He is an angel. One of my favorite gents. Just a lovely lad. But can he step up to the plate against his opponent? It is Kelazhur. Now, you mentioned funky starts. Well, we've already seen it once in this matchup, no less, from Scarlet versus, that was Bunny. Yeah. It's the Eric opener. It's the Extractor Trick 15 hatch into that quick pool. We're seeing Zerg players, they're a lot more willing to embrace this. And it isn't something that is free. It does cost you a little bit of eco the way you do it, but it comes at some benefits, which is that faster spawning pool, that faster hatchery. Like, look how quickly this hatchery is going to finish. This is going to finish at, what, 147?
Hey, well, 146 and a half. Close enough.
That is really fast. That is so fast. We're used to seeing, 159, 2 minutes on the hatchery time. And that means with the faster pool as well, he's starting his queens earlier. You get the injects earlier. It's not a build that is free. It does cost you something, but it also nets you something else. So what does that mean really? Well, it doesn't mean too much in terms of actual differences, but it does mean that it's a very different setup, and it's a little more difficult to maybe deal with it if you're not as used to playing up against this play.
Yeah, of course, on the flip side here, Lings are a little bit slower, although in fairness, that's because Serral didn't make, well, he sent them across the map,
because he has the queen out.
Yeah.
He has the queen out instantly.
And look on the other side here. We got 2 Lings on the other side, and there's a Marine out steadfast, and that is enough to shoo these away, but it delays the command center a little bit. It gets a solid scout, and that is actually going to be really nice. The other thing we have to point out is with all of this, we're not seeing what Scarlet did, right? We're not seeing the Roach Warren. We're not seeing the pressure. This is a safe opening coming in from Serral, because I want to point out here is, drone gets low. But there we go. There's going to be the Spore Cancel. You said the copium that Kelazhur needs, that fans of Kelazhur, that fans of Terran need is, okay, Kelazhur needs to proxy through racks, go something like that, go very aggressive, kneecap Serral before he can properly start to run into this game. Well, you go for a 15 hatch, something like that, that technically keeps you safe, but as you point out, well, just because it keeps you safe doesn't mean that there are not more shenanigans on the horizon. We got a Roach Horn on the way, we got a Lair, third gas eventually, I would assume. This feels like a Nidus play.
Actually have no idea. So the way that the Brazilian Zerg player who has come up with this opener that is kind of taken Zergs by storm a little bit it's a Roach play, and it's kind of like this funny queen drop play. You drop a bunch of creep around your opponent's front, and it's so uncomfortable to deal with. It's just really nasty, and it looks like we are going to be seeing Serral going for that exactly. I was wondering if it might have actually been a 2-base Muta play, but obviously we can see that that is not the case. So he is going to pay a little homage to Eric directly.
Steadfast. He's gotten totally bamboozled here. Kelazhur scouted a third gas, right? That's what he thought was happening. It's only 2 gas right now. And that is, yes, we do have a bunker going down. Yes, there are supply depots in a solid spot. But that's the difference between this kind of dropper lord, queen drop, German taxi type of build that we see Serral going for, and the Nidus play that we were talking about. So if I'm Kelazhur right now, I saw that third gas. That's what I'm responding to. And that's absolutely not what's happening at all. In fact, the Banshee is going to try to find its way onto the other side of the map. You need that Banshee defensively.
Yeah, he's got 8 Marines and a Banshee, and the Banshee has no cloak. There's nothing at home. There's a bunker at the front. Kelazhur is... he's in some trouble. He is in some big trouble right here.
Yeah, this is... he went greedy out of this as well, right? Getting double gas on the natural. Some of his most impressive games recently have been that mech play, although actually it is Bio here. But he sniped Stim as well. So yeah, we're not seeing a lot of SCVs go down right now, but that's just because the entire army is dying. And now the SCVs will continue to fall. The Banshee gets 6 workers on the other side, but I mean, what is 6 drones against 22, 23, 30 SCVs an entire game? The answer is steadfast. Not a lot. I mean, Kelazhur, pour one out for the man because he's going to have to do a little better in game 2.
And, well, I don't even think he needs to do a little bit better. I think it's Serral. You said it best. He bamboozled his opponent.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Kelazhur read this as the Nidus Worm. I think he read this as Mutas. And I think it's completely fair to misread this. You can't blame him at all. During all of this, you might be saying, oh, Kelazhur held. Oh, that's so beautiful.
He didn't hold. No.
He did not hold. Serral didn't commit further. He is on 58 drones. He is about to be on 3 base full saturation. In fact, as I say so, he has hit that number. Yeah. And he's got 1-1 on the way. He can start roach speed in a moment. He can... Oh, well, there we go. There's that roach speed. He can, either go straight for it with a huge roach ravager attack and just pump roaches for the next 2-3 minutes and go, or he can just play a macro game. Either way, Kelazhur would need more than a miracle to come back from this one. And there's the play that I was talking about from Eric, where after the attack is held, you start dropping creep all over the place.
Yeah, steadfast, but you're right. You do anything. Serral can, do literally anything in this game, but I do want to go...
He can do a handstand.
I mean, I can't do a handstand.
But out of game. Like, he could step up from the keyboard, do a handstand. As long as he doesn't, I would even say fatally injure himself. Like, he can injure himself a little bit, but as long as it's not, like, fully fatal, he should not lose this game.
Yeah, he can unplug his keyboard. But I do want to go back, by the way. You're talking about how Kelazhur read that this is a Muta play, which I think is interesting, because I want to say Kelazhur saw the Roach Warren. Yeah, no, he did.
But that can be a fake out.
That's fair.
That can be a fake out with this.
I mean, that's fair, steadfast, but like, you see a Roach Warren, you see 3 gas. Anyway, regardless of what happened here, the 4th base is under some pressure, and, Queens and Roaches are slow to respond, but there's transfused energy at this point, so... Kelazhur gets 2 drones. He puts pressure on, certainly. But at this point, do we get to say, look at the supplies? 170 to 90, like 170 to 85. And he doesn't get the creep tumor. Oh, yeah, man.
It just barely off the mark. And there's the 2-2 on the way for Serral. Kelazhur. The funny thing is, Serral's looking to bust a 3rd base. But Kelazhur not only... does he not have it landed, he literally can't land it right now. So Serral is just going to run him over anyways, because Kelazhur was trying to take this 3rd, and there it is. GG gets called. It happened. It took 3 minutes to complete because Serral is a smart player and he does the things correctly, so he actually hits his timing, which is that 1-1 in roach speed. But this game ended at the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, just unfortunately, here's the problem, right? Diego Kelazhur he's a citizen of the world. He speaks many languages. He's lived everywhere. And unfortunately, he was reading one build. He was reading, the build was in English, and he thought he was reading Portuguese. And unfortunately, I guess English, wow, I can't even talk, but that's fine. The joke is falling apart. Anyways, that being said, total misread. It's really unfortunate. But that's why we play best of 3s. That's why we get to hopefully see something a little bit more, because again, Kelazhur in this matchup, in the online stage when he was playing in North America, did look somewhat okay. He looked solid. Is it solid enough to beat Serral? Maybe not. I don't know. But you give him another game and maybe he doesn't die at the 3-minute mark, and maybe we actually do see him maybe play the game that he wanted to play.
Yes, I think it's fair to say that he didn't get to play his game.
Yeah.
At all. And kudos to Serral for coming in with the build, going for that fake 3rd gas at the natural. And I think the reason that I say that that the 3rd gas makes me think that maybe he tricked Kelazhur into thinking it was Muta is because specifically I think the unit got just far enough to see just one of the gases, and I think Serral knew that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just guessing a little bit. But if you did think it was any kind of roach play whatsoever, you would keep that Banshee at home, including a Nidus play.
Although, I mean, in fairness, this one Banshee, there was no cloak, I don't think. And with the Queens there, I don't even know how much the Banshee really does, but it's something, right? It's value in some way. But hey, game 2 is going to be on Babylon. We've seen a couple awesome TVZs on this map thus far. I mean, shout out to Scarlet and Bjorn, right, that we saw earlier today. But this one, Steadfast, it's a little bit of a different story, and we're gonna have to see what happens. Game 2, though, it's ready, it's loaded up, and Serral, does he do something crazy? We'll find out. And of course, in this bottom right, in the blue, up a game for Basilisk, it's Serral.
And his opponent spawning up at the top left for Team Liquid, it is Kelazhur. Oh, Serral. Okay. His spidey sense is tingling, and he's going to drop a quick 17 pool. He's going to be playing defensive here. He wants to make sure that, hey, Diego, I think you might go for a proxy Rax of some kind, sir. I don't like losing to those, so I'm going to do something that will give me a leg up against something like that. Yeah. And I do want to be clear, like, these players are in the same, like Kelazhur is absolutely capable of being able to beat Serral, but Serral is just such a generational talent that he can make players that are straight up pros. Well, he can do what he did in game 1 to them.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, I mean, we talked about, playing defensively, playing aggressively. I love that Serral, for the last couple years has been experimenting with all-ins and cheeses and things. And there was a time where he was really starting to lose a lot of games, and, it didn't work. He was like, okay, what's happening here? And he just wanted to expand the toolbook that the world champion had available to himself. But we didn't even, the build we saw from Serral in game 1 is probably a step even further into that cheesy direction than even Serral's normal kind of his aggressive options that we go for. So it's nice to see him expand that playbook even more. I don't know whether this is a result as okay. So Lings, they do find their way through, and the Reaper's not gonna get scouted out here. So again, seems like we're gonna see this command center get delayed, and that Marine's gonna pop out. Actually, there's already one out, so it's not a ton, but still, Serral, full scout, or at least a solid scout here, and delaying the command center is always fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Now, it's interesting that Kelazhur built the second Marine here with this setup. It means he doesn't need to worry about anything at home. He does have to pull that SCV away, but he doesn't have to worry about losing his own Marine. So I kind of like that. I think that's completely fine and a good decision. We're going to see a quick third CC coming on in, and no starport just yet from Kelazhur, getting this tech lab first on the factory. Is this going to be Ryung's super fast 3 factory, no starport play into Battle Mech? That's what this feels like to me. Yeah,
I look at Kelazhur, and he's had great bio in the past, but especially looking at a player like Serral, and knowing how solid, Serral holds on against Bjorn. So I don't know that I really want a bunch of bio play against him. So looking at how Kelazhur was the most successful when he was playing ESL Masters Americas, and again, considering his opponent, I do like the idea of Mech, but again, we're going to see a couple additional barracks go down before the starport here. A very quick stim, certainly. But, this kind of feels like I can't even say a TVP build, really, because you get that starport.
No, TVP build is actually exactly what I think of when I look at this kind of thing. Oh, that Reaper.
Trapped.
Oh, man, it will get run down here. And that's actually probably best case scenario for Serral with what he's playing right now. He's actually done something very interesting, which is where he got a Roach Horn, and he's built 5 Roaches, no Ling speed here. But Kelazhur has only seen the 5 Roaches, and I don't think he saw anything else come out. So I think we might see a bit of an overreaction right now on the defense. Really curious what Serral's doing with this. But yeah, behind this, Kelazhur is going to be able to get a really nice economic setup.
So, wait, did he see the starport go? Okay, so he saw the starport going down. And That's going to be a very confusing. It's like, okay, I see your third base, see a couple additional barracks, see the factory, but your starport's getting built now. Like, what in the world are you doing here, Kelazhur? But if we kind of take a step back and look at what we're seeing here from Kelazhur, by delaying this starport as much as he has, he's bought himself a very quick stim. I mean, it's 5 minutes here. Stim's just, well, I guess actually it's fast in terms of a 3cc play. It's not all that fast in terms of like a 2-1-1, kind of middle ground almost.
Yeah. But the thing that's cool about this build is by delaying the starport, you get a lot of, and building your production as fast as you do, you get a lot of units at a quicker timing, and it hits faster than, you know, that 3cc, maybe Hellion Cloak Banshee play, or something like just a general. It's just a faster timing with your first 2 medevacs with a bit of bio. Now, it's really interesting that Kelazhur has gotten just a single engineering bay with this. It tells me he wants to really start trying to put the pressure on even earlier. But Serral is, I mean, he is not playing particularly greedy. He's actually going straight up to 66 drones. Does start a few more now, but he has built a fair number of defensive units. He's respecting this a lot. And he is not going to put himself in a position where he could get caught over droning.
I mean, he is playing tech greedy, right? This infestation pit is done. He can get a hive at he can start his hive at 6 minutes if he wants to, but instead, seems like it will just be for a couple infestors for now to add some oomph to this army. And if Kelazhur plays this properly, we may see kind of the weakness of this heavy roach pressure, right? Roaches, even with roach speed, are not all that fast. It's, oh, nice little one. Well, he could target that down, and now a couple more roaches will fall. Kelazhur realizing that he just has a little bit too much for the scant resources, the scant roaches that Serral brings to the fight. Doesn't get the Ravagers, though. But anyway, point being is that this army that we're seeing Serral go for right now is incredibly, it's immobile, all right? If you start to bring out the drop pressure a little bit, it can fall down. But now, okay, so this is interesting, right? We see a Hydrodin on the way. We see 1-1, right? Hive. Okay, all these things make sense. But he's getting Ling's speed as well. And I guess you just kind of want Ling's into the late game, but everything else from Serral's build is really leading into this quick +2 lurker type of idea, it seems like.
Yeah. By the way, even though that trade looked on paper like it was good for Kelazhur, it actually was even.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much dead even. 6 Marines for 3 roaches. And it always feels like when you kill roaches with a drop like that, it always feels from the eye test like it's good for the Terran. But it's actually just a dead heat. And it's one of those deceptive things, and one of the reasons I think Dark loves playing roaches in this mid game so much. And it's so cool to see that Serral has been taking a page out of this book. He's been doing this a fair bit recently. He's done it in the World Team League a little bit, and even so far as to go for the +1 melee and a +2 carapace. I really love how much Serral has diversified his play in recent history. It's making him so much more difficult to go up against, and we're actually seeing continued evolution from him.
Oh yeah, like you kind of clear the nameplates on this. Now this is a Dark game, maybe a little bit more economically, but roaches into kind of quick lurkers with a couple infestors. Oh, massive fungal. Got to chain it though. Serral's actually not even going to bother. The army will fall. But yeah, no, it's interesting. You look at this, and maybe this is a slightly more economic Dark, a slightly less aggressive Dark. But yeah, I mean, close the nameplates down. This is a Dark. This is how Dark has been playing, kind of since Katowice. At least one of the styles that he's been playing here. So Kelazhur, though, one of the ways that this Dark build works, right, is the Terran gets aggressive and you kind of smash it down, and you're able to hit these timings. But with Kelazhur playing as defensive as he is, hasn't really traded all that much. But now with the lurkers here, he does not have much to defend against this.
No, he does not. Not against lurkers specifically. There's a couple of tanks in the back.
3. It's not, 3 tanks is nothing steadfast.
It's minimal. It's very minimal right here. We're about to see seismic spines coming online. It's a really fast timing for this hive setup. We are going to see a little lock on right there. Good job from Serral with the unburrow. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, we've got Serral with a couple of lurkers in this army as well. He's adding on adaptive talons. This is such an interesting style of play. Oh, Widow Mines. Oh,
take that one.
They're going to get unburrowed. Okay, at least that's better than nothing.
Yeah, man, the interesting thing here as well is there was like one Marauder on the field when that happened, so really nothing to deal with these lurkers at all to get on top of them to tank that up. But now it's a decent spread coming in from Kelazhur here. He's gonna get 1, 2, he's gonna get all, nope, okay, there we go. Second scan gets all the lurkers, one more on the high ground, but that's gonna have to run away here, and Kelazhur takes a pretty solid fight, forcing his opponent back onto the other side. But hey, 5 lurkers where that stands, high ground as well. Kelazhur, he's gonna have to back up a little bit, but still, really solid job forcing Serral back.
Yeah, very nice. That was actually a great concave and a great job to recognize that it wasn't enough really to tank for that. And we kind of see why right there. You don't often see those kinds of plays. This is going to be a big doom drop into the main base. Serral is anticipating it. He's got infestors, but he doesn't have any vipers, so the punish will not be big if Serral can get on top of this. But he will be able to get on top of this and prevent this from really getting too much done, I think. It is a lot of bio. Yeah, it's going to get forced back. Oh, there's the fungal. Can he chain it? Oh, he could have. He actually could have gotten at least one more of those medevacs. There are still these lurkers on the top side, but there's a little no man's land here between the Liberators and the lurkers.
And that was such an awkward unload coming from Kelazhur. He didn't just drop all his units. He had them kind of, the medevacs were moving back and forth a little bit before he dropped down. So he was missing maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 supply out of his medevacs when Serral actually made the aggression happen, or went to deal with it. Maybe Serral could have actually gone or maybe Kelazhur could have gone and maybe gotten a little bit more. Even still, though, he cancels the bottom side base out of Serral. He does a good job again with those lurkers defending. He's going to target another one down here before he's going to have to back on up. And, you know, the supplies for Serral are pretty solid, but, I mean, we still have a decent roach count. Actually, no Ravagers anymore. They've all died. So the supply not quite as inefficient as it might otherwise be. Kelazhur, that wasn't really what he wanted, though, is now the army's going to find its way in here. The scan is done. Second one has to get dropped, and the Liberators will now fall. So Ghosts, they're going to try to go for their snipes, but they don't have range, or they're not positioned well enough. Not just yet. 5 workers fall, and Kelazhur hangs on, but all of a sudden, he's been doing such a good job of bringing his supply back into this game. 150. All of a sudden, his supply is through the floor.
Yeah, but he is trying to transition into that more valuable supply, those ghosts, those siege tanks to deal with this. It is tough, though. Serral is really giving him the business. We are going to see these ghosts trying to get some snipes. A couple of them do get canceled, but one lurker will fall. There is a Liberator on top of this. Fungal growth is going to land. We got a lot of lurkers rotating in from the right, and they're going to look to trap this army. Serral is looking to close this one out right here, right now. There is no planetary fortress on this base. Kelazhur does get enough bio units out to kind of prevent this position from fully being taken down, but Serral with a nice little reposition on a couple lurkers, he's still going to hold this very scary spot. Yeah, the tank is just going to rally forward and die immediately here. Command center has to get lifted, run away, find something else, and now Ling's on the other side. It's just, Kelazhur got caught in transition. He was you talked about trying to move into tanks and Liberators and ghosts and everything, and well, Serral just went and kind of killed him. Yeah, you know, where these lurkers get dealt with, it seems like that's going to be the case, but 40 workers all hitting the deck here. Command center and orbital, because Kelazhur is, of course, on 4 orbitals. He doesn't have a planetary at all. He didn't have anything to defend his bases. Planetaries did go down. This is a nice catch, though. He will get, seems like actually 2 Vipers go down, but even still steadfast. The economy is not happy. No, it's very unfortunate that Serral, you know, sent those a little bit far forward, and good job from Kelazhur to kind of punish that. But even picking off 2 Vipers, I mean, he's going to need a lot more stuff like that to happen. And he's going to need a lot of missteps from Serral to give him a chance back into this game. And I really don't see Serral making those kinds of mistakes. In fact, he's just going to go straight up the gut right here with this army. Widowmine will kill a Hydra. That's kind of nice, but we've got 4 tanks. None of them are in position on this base, and that is so much Lingbane Hydra Lurker with the Infestor support. Fungal growth is big, and that is going to lock down this game for well and good. Yeah, a couple tanks seem to survive, and Serral's going to have to back up just a little bit, but this orbital, yeah, the Hydras are just, there we go, they're going to kill it off. And yeah, there are snipes, but snipes are not enough. In fact, Kelazhur is the one that's going to be forced on a bit of a snipe hunt because Serral